So it's Saturday, May 20th, I think it is. It's Saturday anyway, which if it's not, maybe it's the 21st. And this is Pookie to the Pit Bull. And he's going to be our guide for a garden walk today, which you probably have already seen because I think it's the same people that watch these all the time. And this is going to probably be a short one. These are the native larkspurs, and they're really doing good this year. Check it out. It's those purple guys all the way through there. And that's pretty neat. Even somebody I know that has not cultivated them has almost as good a ones as I do. And what I do is I save the seeds. And yes, I can save some for you. And I disc about, well, maybe like August. But I get all the weeds down and then scatter the seeds around September 1st. This is a fairy morse perennial bed. You can see the orangish yellow, those are calendula. And I think it's a short-lived perennial. They're doing pretty good. That looks like a bachelor button and I think a gypsophilia, the tall gypsophilia. It might be a perennial gypsophilia. Oh. And of course sunflowers. And these could be native sunflowers, and they could be, I don't think I put any of the big kind over here. So they probably are native sunflowers. And I might cut them down after they bloom and not let them seed onto this bed. Because I want this to, I'm going to try to make this into a permanent perennial bed and get seeds from it and take the seeds everywhere else. And the seeds from some things that succeeded here are vastly preferable to seeds from anywhere else, because most things don't live here, they die. Asclepias, those are the milkweeds. Trying them for the first time this year. And back there, that tag with 331, I think is, without looking at the other side of the tag, some of this crimson-eyed hibiscus, the hardy hibiscus. This is my fence lumber collection. Almost every nail has been pulled out. They're all stacked nice, and it's pretty weird. It's pretty orderly. It's like I wanted it, instead of like it usually is. Much more of this area back here is like that. That's the potting bench, the thing that says scrap only, the 55-gallon drum. Coffee grounds and a sifter. Mr. Cement Mixer, he makes soils. Fencing is really good for your collection of pots. You hang it up off a fence, and when it rains, the dirt and crud gets washed off them and not splattered all over them. Plus, it's just really easy to throw stuff into that bin, and you can see what's in there, and it's just wonderful. This is sort of how you make a half-inch hardware cloth sifter for your potting soil. And then here we see this perlite is really good for cactus and succulent soil. You can use almost any kind of leaf mold and junk for the soil, and maybe put some sand in. As you can see, I use some pretty junky junk. If only you will put perlite. It keeps their roots from getting on. Here you can see this is like just sort of a mixture of various stuff. Used potting soil, new potting soil, you got it. Bone, blood, and green sand if you're into the organic stuff. That's what I used to use when I had the nursery. And boy, that's really good. And I'm also going to plug Osmocote slow release with micronutrients, the little pellets. The price to buy them at is 50 pounds at a time. This is some glop that has clay in it, and I make my clay pots out of that. You saw those clay pots earlier, probably. I didn't say anything about them, but they were there. Mr. Tandem Disc. This guy will go right to the hubs, so it does what a rototiller does, only it does it as fast as you can walk, and it doesn't bounce you around, and it just goes boom, goodbye. Oh, something in the way, chop it to shreds. It's like P wants me to not to forget to go in the greenhouse. These are some of my pots here. I've had some problems with these, with root rots, and I think it's root rots that have killed some of them, and I'm not sure why. I'm doing a thing of aging them out in the yard now, in case of some like toxic salts or something that might be in that soil. Well, in the pots after it's cooked, because remember, at 2100 degrees Fahrenheit, you're possibly going to cause chemical, you are going to cause chemical reactions, and so I could be making something that's bad for the plants. And then if I put them where the dishwasher water comes out, you probably know these guys. That's a jelly bean down there at the end, and then there's little sedum, I think. I'm not sure what the brownish one is. This next one, that's a sedum. I think that's the pine tree, you call it. And here's like the little miniature jelly bean. It's so cute. And I'm not sure who this guy is. There's another somebody sedum somebody or other. You can see some of these are doing really good, like that little guy. He's pretty happy. Here's sedum spurium voodoo, not very big yet, but it's got a bright purple flower, and I have yet to see mine. And this is somebody, I'm not sure who it is. He was on my windowsill all winter, so I was afraid he would freeze. Likewise this dude, who I also don't know. See, here's a sedum. I mean, this is just such a picture-perfect little thing with its pea gravel, selected pea gravel. I actually go through it to get that sort of a little, like a, you can kind of dream, and it's like you're in the desert, and there's this plant in this little miniature desert. Got these guys in the fall in 2-inch pots from North something Gardens. Cost me $2 with shipping. Like $54 for 25 of them. And I've lost, I don't know, 10 or something, so that wasn't that great. Got these off of somebody at eBay. This guy is, the one with the little ones is deserving of a bigger pot. But I'm just so nervous about doing anything to upset what he's doing there. That is a great plant. And here's some little baby ones from the same guy on eBay. But a lot of them have gotten this. It got down to 10 degrees, and let's face it, this is not a heated greenhouse, so there's your thing. There's pea gravel for sorting, and nails for fixing it up, and thrift shop things for sifting sand, and there's sifting there, and there's another sifting, and another sifting thing, and more pieces of hardware and junk, and more and more and more pieces of hardware and junk. And that's a rice cooker, and I use that to sterilize potting soil. Just Mr. Time Clock up here turns it on at night, when I have it plugged in, of course. And then it runs for, you can see there, about a couple hours. Cooks the potting soil, supposedly kills the weeds. Hackberries, for some reason or other, don't always die. And then speaking of hack, that's a piece of suck rod from the oil field, welded to an old hammerhead with a used piece of rubber hose. This hose was really good. I bought it as pieces like 20 years ago. It was pieces of really good hose put together with really lousy fittings on the end. The people that made the good hose sold their scraps to somebody that made crappy hoses out of it. That's that bed that you saw before. The minnow tank in the background behind those wild oats that you might just be able to barely make it out. And these are, I put like the Russian giant, kind of the great big sunflowers, but there might be some, there were oil sunflowers here last year, black oil, the birdseed ones. I kind of like the idea of, if I had some sunny area I wasn't doing much with, find something that could grow on just the water that it gets. Wheat might be something. Coincidentally, there is some wheat. And you can see I dumped my ashes out over here. I think it improves the soil some. It's got potassium, potash. These are some turnips pieces you can see here laying around. Looks like a carrot right there. Maybe I can leave him. I seeded these rows with like several things. I had parsnips and carrots and mixed them with my turnip seeds. I'm not a companion planting, only you can put this with that, but not the other thing with, I don't believe any of that stuff. I mean, it could be, maybe marigolds do stop some root nematodes that would get on your tomatoes. I'm not saying that's not possible, but I never have been able to see that it was true. We'll do a little close-up on the wheat for, this is organic, never had any bug problems at all. I don't know what that bug is doing. It's a shield bug of some sort, I think. Whatever he's doing, he can. Oh, let's get another view on that. That's that patch that has the sunflowers over there. And then there's Mr. Tractor, that's a Ford 8N, circa like 1947, 49. I think they were like 32 or 36 horsepower or something like that. It's not a very powerful one. But you can see what that shredder did to, these were the turnips. Once they, you can see there's some good ones. If I have a friend on Gab that's into the small scale farming thing, I'd love to have one of his pigs come and eat up these. These are all woody and terribly done. If you would eat one of these turnips, you really need something to eat because they are bad. Like eating balsa wood. I don't know if there's, I guess there's some nutrients in them though. They grow over the winter, by the way. These dudes made it through 10 degrees. It was 10 degrees for a whole day. During the day. And then these are nightshades, the ones with the kind of longish round leaves. And that brown dead stuff is the little white stars, flowers. And then in the back, the stuff that's green with the white flowers is Queen Anne's lace. That's the wild ancestor of carrots. And here we see one lantana. So I cut a bunch of brush out of here to give this thing some sun, and then you can see it's kind of a mess. There he is. Lantana Dana. Yeah, I guess it's checking things out over. That's what I call the way back there. It goes back about 50 feet. And I take some deadwood for firewood, and that's about it. He plays around back there. And the birds can sort of do their thing. It doesn't produce a lot of food, but there's nesting spots, and I don't know who's nesting back there. Not probably too many of them. This one I think is that twining milkweed. this thing that's on the fence. I'm going to collect seeds for this and go all over this fence because this nice green stuff is this regular chain link fence you can see underneath. Now this stuff hasn't, I don't think I did a thing for it this year, but I probably will. I'll probably drag my one big hose. I got one heavy duty one that was given to me by the guy that owns the grocery store 20 years ago when I was working there. It was old and cruddy then. And I got some new ends for it, and I'm still using it. It's my main one that floods this little pocket over here. I don't know what I'm going to do over this thing. I tried to put black-eyed Susans in there. No, didn't they? None grew. All of this, by the way, has been in Bachelor Buttons. But they didn't self-sow very well because there was one earlier this year somewhere around here. So I'm still looking for... I've always liked perennials better anyway. And then here's looking at wheat from another angle. This is back the other way. This is 150 feet wide, so it's less than 100 feet a row there. I only got about 4 ounces of turnip seeds, but those are small seeds. There are a lot of turnips. And then way more Queen Anne's lace than I need. In case the depression's coming, the depression is coming. And try not to get too depressed. But it's coming. These are lamb's quarters. And you can eat them. They're kind of bitter when they're raw. And maybe you can put vinegar with them or something like that. I eat a piece when I think of it in the eye. Along the theory that, well, you know, little vitamins and stuff, even though I don't really like the stuff. And then here's the big project and the big mess. These pallets, the way I want them to be, not the way I did. We were in a rush. We had to get the pallets up, and we're doing this, building this barn for this table saw and stuff. But the way I want them to be, you would put them up on edge this way with the rails horizontal, and you would do a row of them up on edge against the back, and another row up on edge in front of those, and then fasten them with bolts, some baling wire, clothes hangers, nails, something. Try to get them really firmly attached and get the diagonal strength that this setup doesn't have yet. You can see we've got a temporary brace on here. When we get this lumber used, I'm going to try to rework this into more like what I wanted. And then this over here, sits up against the fence, is just all made out of crap. But I got some rain gutters sitting over there, and if you've priced them lately, you don't throw those away anymore. Good used rain gutter. If I don't need them, I have places I could put them, but if I don't want them, probably somebody is going to, oh man, I need one that doesn't drip on me when I try to open my front door. Okay, you can take this. That's kind of what these things are for. Here is can be the saw shop. This tongue and groove lumber here, I bought the whole shed as a you tear it down, you can have it deal, and since my back won't let me do this kind of work anymore, my buddy Donnie is doing it, but she offered like $100 for just this part of the platform that's done already. And then I'm going to have to use, it looks like we're going to finish this with shiplap, which is not really very good on 24 inches on center. But I guess that's what I'm going to have. I would, if I was just picking stuff, I'd just put 2-for-1 1 1/8 plywood on it and get it all over with. This is what you do for starting the fire, and it's all made out of junk, of course. It doesn't rain underneath that metal. And this one, I paid like $65 for it used. And had to replace wheels, and these are dreadfully expensive. $150. This is the old spot where I chop up branches and crap like this here. I just take them and cut them up in little bits, and then it makes fire starters. And there you go. This is a thing that has a little red pinkish berry. These are the remains of some of the old ones. It's a spreading ground thing. I can divide that in the winter. I can dig up a piece for somebody if they want it. If you want any of these things, I mean, go ahead and ask. I'd be ready to pay the postage, but... And I don't know, you can send somebody like Ben Norton, you could send him $5 or something. I don't take anything for my stuff, but 3/4 horse electric motor in place of, I think it was a 5 that was on here, gas, that didn't run. I've got a video, I think, where I started up. I used it for wheat. I took a bunch of that wheat, a bucket full went in, a quart came out, all chipped, poured it from one container to another. In a slight breeze, got rid of some chaff, and I've got, I think, a pound already. Now that was just out of one little bunch. So I probably get 50 pounds out of what's back here. I've been eating some of the seed stuff. $15 for 50 pounds. I put it in the slow cooker overnight. And there you go, hey. If it's good enough for a cow, it's good enough for me, because probably most of the food that they sell for people is not even as good as cow food. You'd be mad if they sold you bad stuff for your cow. Here's some more. This is that Kamchatka, Sedum Kamchatka. That's the Kamchatka Peninsula, or the Nalasha. That's the part that Sarah Palin can see from, or something. She's near the Kamchatka Peninsula. It sticks out towards Alaska, and that's why she knows about Russia. Well, she's entertaining, at least. I mean, that's something. None of them are competent, so there's not any need for that. There's like these 5 little dudes that I mowed around. These are Cranesbill geraniums, the bluish dude, and I think I gave like 10 or 15 bucks for like 6 or 8 of them, and a few of them didn't make it, but I mean, 10 degrees. Hello. Into the teens is bad around here, so 10 degrees I think is as bad as it's been. But they tell me on Gab, there's no such thing as global warming. You're right, okay, if you say so. These are the elephant garlic. You can see they're kind of pathetic this year. I've got to get in there. Now this is something I would sell, because I had these I bought like three cloves 15 or 20 years ago and had to give like $5 for them. And then I set them out here, and now I have a couple dozen. But I don't know, maybe could give you, one or two. Do one nice big fat one for $5 anyway. And you don't even need to divide them. You don't need to divide regular garlic either, which cannot take the climate here. That cold, I think, burned the heck out of these tops, and these guys didn't recover very well. But there used to be right here a circle of them, and he has pounced on something. I would make fun of his hunting because it's pretty sloppy, but he's caught rats, and he caught a perch out of the minnow pond, like a 3-inch perch. I couldn't even see those in there. And this little crazy dude gets one. Pretty amazing. This is Primrose, the pink. I don't think he's a Primula. Oenothera. It's spelled like Oenothera. Oenothera somebody or other. And it grows in climate zone 7B wild, but I've had a hard time getting it going. I got it going one other place. It likes a place that gets pretty wet when it rains. If that's any kind of a clue too. Here's the native larkspur. We'll do a close-up. You're not going to be able to see anything because it's wobbling around the wind too much. Here we are. I'm going to put, I ordered a package of the cultivar seeds, and I'm going to put those with the natives. And it looks like we've about done this, so there's that.